We just hit a pretty crazy milestone on the channel, 30,000 subscribers. Now, I'm honestly blown away that when I started 4 years ago, I knew nothing about the beautiful game, knew nothing about the sport of football, and it's now become my favorite sport. It is the game that I'm the most obsessed with, and you guys came along for the journey. 30,000 of you came along for the journey, but some of you are new here, and so you haven't actually seen a lot of those early videos, and so I thought I'd make a complete journey compilation. So I'm going to include videos from the very beginning, 4 years ago, all the way up to now, and you can see me go from kind of interested to the game and to absolutely obsessed with football. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be a compilation video. You're going to see I didn't include the infamous Beauty of Football reaction. If you want to check it out on my channel, it's there. It's my most viewed video. You click on the most popular videos on my channel, you'll find it. I didn't include it in this compilation. Number one, because it is copyright claimed, and so I don't want this video to get copyright claimed. But you guys can go check that out. That's my first interaction with football, and I knew nothing. Didn't know who Messi was. Didn't know who Pele was. That was crazy. But what you're going to see in this video, you're going to see some videos of me training, some videos of me learning the game, some videos of me teaching the game to my friends. So hope you guys enjoy it. I know it's going to be several hours long. So what's up, guys? Thanks for clicking on the video. My name is Luke, and in today's video, we're checking out Understanding European Football in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans. I desperately need it. I've checked out Lionel Messi, I've checked out Ronaldo and Ronaldinho. And in today's video, I'm going to be checking this out. You're going to start to understand the sport a little bit more. I'm gearing up to watch World Cup this year, and so I need a crash course on understanding football, understanding the sport. So here we go. I'm going to check it out. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Understanding Soccer in Europe in 4 Simple Steps.
Y'all don't like it to be called soccer. I found that out.
From the outside, it may seem complex and confusing. To understand how soccer works in Europe, you really only need to know 4 things.
Football.
Number 1, each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run from August to May, in which each team plays every other team twice, once at home and once on the road. Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point.
Wait. Back that up. What the heck? It's confusing. Back this up again.
Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point.
So when the game is over, no matter what the score is, the winner gets 3 points and the loser gets 0 points. And this is, I'm guessing, goes into standings in the league. Okay.
And in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point. After each team has played all the other
if they tie at the end of the game, each team gets 1 point. Okay.
Teams twice. The team with the most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy,
that's always
parade,
the
and
table.
The season is over. There are no playoffs. Sort of. But more on that in a minute. Before the books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2, relegation. We'll use the German League as an example. Every year, when the German League has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of points are kicked out of the league. This process is known as relegation. The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division. And unlike, say, baseball in the US, teams in the 2nd and subsequent divisions are not owned by teams in the top division. Imagine if the Pittsburgh Pirates...
So, it's very performance-based. If you fall into the bottom 3 on the table, you get kicked out of the league and you get replaced by someone else. So if you want to remain, relevant, it's so much about, like, you've got to be on your game.
Oakland Raiders had to fight at the end of each season just to stay in the league. What if instead of coasting to the bottom with draft picks, they were fighting to the bitter end?
It's so dang. So, like, I'm thinking for myself, like, what if, the Lions or the Browns or, the Jaguars every year at the end of the year had to have this battle to the death, and then at the end of battling to the death, like, they get replaced by, like, the minor league team. Like, that's wild. Okay.
avoid the $40 million revenue loss that relegated teams suffer in the first year alone. Not to mention the fact that in England, 9 different teams have gone financially insolvent within 5 years of relegation. Okay, interesting enough, you're thinking. But what about that whole lack of playoffs part? Number 3. Each country also holds an elimination-style tournament, referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from all levels, down to semi-professional and even some amateur teams, are invited to play, and if they do well, can progress and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left who play each other in the cup final. After 90 minutes, a cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy, and a parade. So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are. But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country in Europe all got together and played each other? Good idea. Right. Number 4. The resulting competition is called the UEFA Champions League, and it is without a doubt the single greatest club competition of any sport anywhere in the world, period. Think of the NCAA tournament, but with better quality of play, more than double the fan base, and quadruple the enthusiasm. And yes, Europe even has their own version of the NIT as well. So, through a complex and drawn-out process, teams from all over Europe compete just to qualify for this tournament. And starting each September, the top 32 teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members of its group 2 times, once at home and once on the road. Come December, the winner and runner-up from each group move on to the knockout round. And this is where club soccer is at its finest. Teams are paired up individually and again play 1 home and 1 away game, with the winner from each pair moving on to the next round until only 2 teams remain. The Champions League final is then held as a single game each year in May. And unless it's the World Cup year, this is the most important soccer game of the year. After 90 minutes, a champion is crowned, the trophy is awarded, parades commence, and all clubs go on break until the madness fires back up again in August. So, to review. Number 1, each country has its own league. Number 2, the worst teams are kicked out of the league and replaced by the best teams from the next division.
So we're in the middle of this right now.
Each country also holds a playoff-type tournament called a cup. And number 4, the UEFA Champions League is a tournament involving all of Europe and is the most important competition in all of club soccer.
Champions League. All right. So, if I remember right from one of my comments, they take a break from the normal leagues in order to play in the FIFA World Cup every 4 years. So the World Cup is coming up this month, like it's starting, and I'm going to be checking that out for the first time. But this is basically, they're putting their seasons on pause, right? So like if it starts in August, we're in the middle of every football being played in every country, and seeing their league. So that's really wild to me that a team could be booted out of the league because of relegation. That is insane to me. And so that's crazy. So I'm going to be, I guess, trying to keep up with which clubs and which leagues are doing well so that I can be paying attention to the Champions League and paying attention to the cup finals and all of these countries. So I'm going to try my best to keep up with football this year and kind of see what's going on, what the landscape looks like internationally, where all the best clubs are. I did a reaction to Manchester United versus Manchester City that got blocked, and it's still not available on the channel. But I thought that Manchester United would be the team that I root for, just because it's the only team that I had heard of. But Man City really just wiped the floor with them in that match. But anyway, I guess we will. If you like what you see on this channel, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I've got plenty of reactions on this channel. I've reacted to rugby, and I've reacted to Messi, Ronaldo. I've got a video coming out with Ronaldinho in it. So if you like what you see here and you want to help me understand a sport, I'm really actually enjoying it. And so, yeah, come check it out. We'll continue to follow my journey into the greatest sport in the world, and I have no problem saying that. I'm an avid NFL fan, still will be, always will be. I love my sport, but there is room in my heart for a new sport, and I'm excited to see Next up, I need to learn the rules. Y'all let me know how I need to do that. See you guys in the next video. Here's why I eventually might like football more than football. All right, so I grew up in the States, a massive fan of NFL football. Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm from Texas. I found an old book when I was in like second grade in the school library of the top 10 NFL quarterbacks of the 1970s. And I was reading these little biographies of quarterbacks in the 1970s. And in there was a piece about Roger Staubach, Roger Dodger, year after year after year in my entire life. I'm a massive fan of the NFL. And yet, as I was watching my last NFL game, the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants, I found myself increasingly frustrated. And it's because I've been watching soccer, I've been watching football a little bit more since I've started this channel. And I've been playing FIFA a little bit more. And I've been watching a little bit of the Premier League. I've watched 2 Premier League games, and now after today watching USA versus England, I've watched a full World Cup match and several others I've caught bits and pieces of. I'm starting to see impressive football highlights show up in my feed on both YouTube and Facebook, and I'm having, a lot of trouble not clicking on some of those videos because I think I might need to react to them later for my channel, but I'm finding myself really becoming a fan of football. And one thing that I noticed as I was watching the Cowboys versus the Giants is that I became increasingly frustrated with the amount of times that the play gets stopped. Okay? I love the sport. I played the sport. Not at a really high level, but I was good at the sport and I loved it. And I still do love it. But at one point during the game, we had a penalty which stops the clock and sets us back, and they have to talk about it, and then the coach gets to yell at the ref for a little bit, and then we run the next play, and there's another penalty pre-snap. So now we've got to back it up again. We still haven't got a play run. The clock gets stopped again. And then they finally snap the ball, run the play. A player from the opposing team gets injured, so they have to stop the clock so that everyone can come, and I'm not mocking injuries. They happen in a very brutal sport, but they have to stop the clock, rush the medics on the field, tend to the injury. We go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. Okay, they're ready to play again, and they start the play, and guess what? It's another penalty. Penalty stops the clock, backs us up. We run the next play, and there's another injury. And so in the span of I think about 6 or 7 minutes, from a very sloppy game, which is not normal in NFL football, but for the span of, I think, 15 minutes, we might have run 3 plays total. And it just makes for a sloppy viewing experience, and it was frustrating me to no end. My wife is sitting over here watching me watch the Cowboys game, and for the first time, I'm really upset with the whole game itself. As I've watched the Premier League and as I've watched these World Cup matches, the bits that I've got to see, I love how we go 45 minutes and there's not a commercial break. We go 45 minutes plus stoppage time, and then you have halftime, commercials, everything, and then the game is back and it's moving again. Now, one of the things I love about the NFL is it's brutal, it's violent. You've got hard hits, you've got aggression and violence, and you've got all of that on display. And some amazing athletic plays on display in the NFL. Some of the most amazing athletes in the world doing wild things, catching the ball and contorting their bodies in all kinds of positions and running very fast. And just a lot of really cool action that happens in the NFL. But the purity of football and how the ball gets passed between players and how the ball it's so fluid. It's like it moves up and down the pitch, and the game itself has been fascinating to watch. And so, as I said, I've been born and bred into the Dallas Cowboys. I've been born and bred into this NFL football. I played it in high school. I coach it now in high school, and I love our sport.
I've got to tell you, there might come a day in the near future when it becomes my second favorite sport. Right now, it's still, right now it's still my favorite sport. I'm so invested in the Cowboys season this year. We're 8-3, and we're gonna have a good year. Hopefully, I say that every year. I'm so invested into this season, into the NFL. I still love it, with everything. And basketball has always been my second favorite sport. Mavericks are pretty good. Luka Doncic is amazing. I love basketball. But, man, words that I thought I would never say. I think soccer might be my favorite sport. Or at least it's fighting. It's past basketball already. I'm already more invested in this than I ever have been in the NBA. So, basketball, great sport, not as great as football. And football might take over football. That's my first place sport, most enjoyable sport to watch.
It's April, guys. Thanks for clicking on the video. I'm checking out Italian football in the month of April, and my first stop has got to be Paolo Maldini. Huh? Football's greatest defender. Let's check this out. If I have to make a tackle, then I've already made a mistake. What a legend! That is a great mindset. Defend so well that you don't have to ever make a tackle. That's good. I am definitely changing the soundtrack to this due to copyrights. But it is epic. Here we go. Number 3, Maldini. The skill and precision of keeping that ball. Oh, that's okay. Actually, they just kept replaying it. That is so risky. He's throwing his head up into the air while the guy's foot's coming through. Like, you're asking to get your head kicked. But he has no regard for his body. He's going to make a defensive play on the ball, and he's got the accuracy there. What a risky play. Good play. Heads up play. I love watching how he stops the ball with his foot. He traps it with his foot. Like, what good does it do him to make a tackle and clear the ball away when he can just stop the ball and control it and get it back into play for his team? Like, he's not just clearing it. He's either trying to make a pass or regain possession for himself. Oh, just beautiful stuff. I love it, man. Like I said, he's either trapping it or making a pass. I only hope to ever be able to be this good of a defender. It's not really possible. Real humans can't do this. Excellent touch. He's really able to. He's got a really good touch. Like, he gets out of trouble easily. Now, I know he said he's made a mistake if he makes a tackle, but his tackles are so clean. It's so fun to watch, man. Great clearance, man. I wasn't sure if he'd be able to get there. So, Paolo Maldini played for AC Milan. He wore the number 3. Let me look it up real quick. Paolo Maldini. He was born in 1968, so he's age 54 right now. And he played for AC Milan. He's the technical director of AC Milan currently. Okay, so his youth career played for the club AC Milan. In his senior career, which I'm guessing is professional. He played also for AC Milan. He played it looks like he played his entire career for one club. Massive respect for anyone who plays an entire career with one club and doesn't go to another club. Or at least that's what information I'm finding. Wikipedia could be wrong. With AC Milan, he won Serie A in 1978 and 88, 1991 and 92, 1992 and 93, 93 and 94, 95 and 96, 98 and 99, 03 and 04. So it looks like they had a run of dominance in the early 90s, like the whole 90s actually. It looks like they only briefly missed 97, 98. Wow. Late 80s, early 90s, they were just dominant. And then once again in 03 and 04. With Italy, he was the World Cup runner-up in 1994 and third place in 1990. So in the 90s, Italy's World Cup team was great. He won a European championship, or was runner-up of a European championship in 2000. Individual awards. Let's look at these. He made the FIFA World Cup All-Star team for 1990 and 1994. He was third place in Ballon d'Or voting in 1994. In 2003, does that mean he won the Ballon d'Or? It doesn't say. Maybe he was third place both years. Just a whole host of singular awards. And y'all let me know, a Ballon d'Or, that would be odd for a defender to win the Ballon d'Or, right? I'm mostly familiar with that being won by strikers or sort of, the goal-scoring players, like the forwards. So that's really interesting. Paolo Maldini, man, what a legend of the game. Perfect way for me to get invested into Italian football. You guys know on this channel I love defending, so watching some of these defensive highlights, that was exactly what I would love to see. Y'all let me know in the comments what other Italian footballers I should check out during the month of April. I'm focused on Italian football. I'm going to be doing other countries as well throughout. I'm not stopping the regular content, but I am going to have an emphasis on Italian football throughout the month of April. So y'all hit me up in the comments down below about the other Italian footballers I need to check out, and some of the key moments in Italian football history. I know nothing about it. I've been getting rather well acquainted with English football, but I don't know much about the Italian game. So, guys, let me know what I need to do in the next video. I'll see you then.
From the 720, soccer is the worst, biggest stage, U.S. versus England, bars full of patrons all across the land, just to have a 0-0 tie. Really, soccer?
Just when I thought we were making progress, and just when I thought that we were starting to have a breakthrough in America with the beautiful game, everyone seems to be rallying around our national team in the World Cup. Just when I thought we were breaking through, I was reminded, slapped in the face with soccer hate, which is very much still alive and well here in the States. I once was a part of it before I started to understand how beautiful a sport football actually is. Before we get into the content, let me just say there are many of you who are waiting patiently for a reaction request, and I promise you I'm trying to get to them. I still have to work a full-time job, unfortunately. In fact, I'm on lunch break right now from school. I need to get back pretty soon so that I can teach the final class of the day. Please stay patient. I'm still getting to those. It's just going to take me a while to get through them because on top of working a full-time job, I'm also taking a full-time course load at the Level College here in New Orleans. So I'm trying to get there, I promise. But as I was driving to lunch on my lunch break, I was listening to some DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area sports radio on my phone. And as I was listening to it, they were having the most idiotic soccer conversation there. And I love these guys. They're my go-to for NFL content and commentary. They're very entertaining, and they talk a lot about the Dallas Cowboys, so obviously I'm a fan of their show. But they started talking about soccer, and wow, the opinions, they were a bit cringe. So I thought I'd share some of them with you so that maybe you guys can cringe along with me. So number one, the main criticism from Americans over here for soccer is there's not a lot of scoring. We want points. We want energy. We want action. We want it to be fast moving. We want it to be high scoring.
From the 720, soccer is the worst, biggest stage, U.S. versus England, bars full of patrons all across the land, just to have a 0-0 tie. Really, soccer?
Another wild opinion that we have is why don't we change the rules and get rid of offsides? If we can get rid of offsides, the game will be higher scoring because you could just get in better position, and then it's a high scoring game, and you have to play around it.
But I do believe that in the final match of the World Cup, they will leave it up to the purest form of soccer, which is PK.
That's true.
Like that's how
I think what they should do is they should take the most casual soccer fans who really don't watch soccer and never will watch soccer and let them change all the rules of soccer.
right at the very
I
end
feel
for
like
the last match.
No. Just like all the rules, like like somebody like me who doesn't really care about soccer. I know it's a beautiful sport, but I don't really care
a big
about.
Man City fan.
I am, but then I looked at their roster. A lot of the guys like Raheem Sterling's gone. He went to England.
Sure, that's how that works.
Yeah. Is
Went
just
to England.
just let like the people who really don't understand the sport or really care about it or are entertained about it, let them change all the rules about it.
I don't think he's talking about soccer anymore.
Okay, but I don't
Talking about the
understand.
No,
why.
I'm talking about baseball.
I don't
Like,
understand.
why do they? Let's have offsides.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Just get rid of it. Let's make it more exciting.
Yeah, that will up scoring. We'll have more shots on goal if I don't have to stay where all the defenders are. I can just, hey, if you want to go up to midfield and I don't, deal with it.
And I don't understand why people are so bent out of shape about a scoreless draw. The match before, it was 1-1, which Reggie helped me out. I'm pretty sure is tied for the most goals in the history of a soccer match. So
Now I don't feel as bad about reading this message from Swaggy Booties that says Kevin loves layoffs.
From the fourth, that's true. Kevin is like, I can't
Tighten
wait
up
for
the
layoff
workforce.
day.
Only 5 people can play defense at a time.
From the 469, all you idiot casuals are annoying.
What?
The beautiful. That's the problem.
What did I do?
That's the problem. You can't do that.
Make the goal bigger.
If you want people to like the game, you can't be a jerk like that.
Are
to
you
the people that are
telling
trying
me-
to learn?
Are you telling me, Corey, that it does not encourage people to like soccer when you're like, well, soccer is the most popular sport in the world, and then you condescend to them?
If you
That
have to
doesn't,
ask,
like,
you're never gonna know.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you're like,
Well,
I
how
asked so I could know.
I feel like they don't have television.
Oh, what?
They haven't seen other sports.
That feels like definitely too
You want more
broad
action
of a
in this sport.
statement.
You want action?
No, that definitely. We need to. If we do a soccer segment tomorrow, we'll find that Simpsons clip breaking down the different nations.
That's not what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
I can't wait for tomorrow. What time's the game at?
It's
1
at 1
p.m.
o'clock.
Yes. I'll watch the first half.
Just keep this in mind.
This is my initial opinion. When I first started playing FIFA, I was like, dude, why don't we just get rid of offsides? It'd be so much easier to score, and it'd be so much more fun. But the more that I've watched the beautiful game, the more that I've been watching it played the way it's intended to be played, the more and more I'm finding myself there's something that's really entertaining and beautiful about a 1-1 draw or a 0-0, a 0-0 draw, as you guys say. I don't know if I'd change anything, honestly. There might be some things that we could change that would make it a little more exciting. But most of us, I'm finding this through my subscribers, most of us who enjoy the sport don't really enjoy it because it's exciting. Because there are moments of excitement. But mostly it's just a poetic and beautiful and artistic game. And so I don't think there needs to be any changing. One comment I continually get, especially in my live stream watch-alongs, which formation is the best? Luke, which formation do you think is the best? And I'll be honest,
I don't know.
while I love tactics, being an American football coach over here, I haven't dug into the tactics like I probably should. So today we're going to learn about the 4-3-3 formation. We're going to figure out what formation do I actually think is the best. If I were to coach this sport, which formations would I go with? Things like that. So here we go.
By far my most requested video on this channel with a total of 2 comments. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the 4-3-3 and why it's been one of the most used formations for the past few decades.
All right, let's learn about this one.
4-3-3 has been used by some of the greatest clubs in football history. From Louis van Gaal's Ajax in 1995 to Pep Guardiola's Barcelona in 2009, all the way to Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in 2019, it's been one of the best defensive formations for decades. And in the modern game, a lot of big clubs are still using it. Manchester City are currently running away with the title, having lost only 1 game when playing with a 4-3-3. Last season champions Liverpool are not having the best season, but their previous season's performances with these formations were some of the best in recent history. PSG are top of Ligue 1 on goal difference, and their incredible offensive statistics are an example of how lethal the 4-3-3 can be. And finally, Barcelona are currently in second place and are yet to lose a game when lining up in the 4-3-3, and are slowly closing the gap on Atletico Madrid. To get the most out of this formation, it does require a lot of specific players. And so, let's take a look at what each player's roles are within the 4-3-3. Firstly, the goalkeeper needs to be an excellent ball player, as this formation will require the team to build up play from the back, and as a result will need to be able to pick a pass when under pressure from the opposition striker. Barcelona's Andre ter Stegen is an excellent example of this, able to support the first phase of Barcelona's...
So basically he needs to be a good distributor because he's going to be the first phase of an offensive play, turning defense into offense. You know, so he needs to be able to get passes out quickly, especially in an attacking situation if defenders are closing on him.
Attack and pick out players with precise passes. The centre-backs must also be excellent ball players, able to move the ball upfield under pressure and pick out a pass into the midfield to break the first line of offensive press. At times, they will also need to have good long ball precision to find the wingers or strikers if the opposition defence is not set up properly. Most importantly, however, they need to be excellent defenders, with strong physical presence and good aerial control, given that on opposition counterattacks they will be required to close down the strikers and give them no space to play in. This season, the defensive partnership of Stones and Diaz at Manchester City have been outstanding, with the best pass completion stats in the team, and by far the most plays per 90. Next up, the fullbacks need to be athletic and help support attack and defense throughout the match. Contrary to a back 3 lineup, the fullbacks...
Wow, so the fullbacks... Man, they've got to be able to cover the entirety of the pitch, and they've got to be quick. They've got to be able to move fast so they can get from their goal to the opponent's goal. Wow.
Have a much more important defensive role with a 4-3-3, and will need to have a good understanding with his teammate on the other flank, adapting to each other's position. For example, if the left back has pushed up to support the attack, then it's common for the right back to shift inside and support the defensive line. Last season, the partnership between Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson was one of the best in Europe, with 25 assists between them and also helping Liverpool achieve the best defensive record in the league. In the midfield 3 is where we can start to see the main differences of how teams line up based on the players they have at their disposal. It can vary from a flat 3, a triangle with 2 defensive and 1 offensive midfielder, and a triangle with 1 defensive and 2 offensive players. The 3 midfielders need to have excellent passing precision and the ability to pick out players between the lines. They will need to support the defence during build-up and pick out the forwards on the attack, with late runs onto the edge of the box or with precise through balls. The 3-man midfield is usually assigned 3 roles: the defender, the controller, and the creator. The defender is the defensive midfielder who shields the back 4. The controller sets the tempo of the game and can be considered as a box-to-box midfielder. And finally, the creator links up the midfield with the forwards ahead of him, usually creating the most chances for the team. This is extremely evident in Manchester City's midfield 3 from this season, An excellent CDM with Rodrigo, a great controller with Gundogan, and one of the best creators in the world with Kevin De Bruyne, currently with the second most assists in the league.
De Bruyne.
Finally, the three forwards are the key to all offensive success in the 4-3-3. Firstly, the wingers will need to be excellent dribblers and be extremely quick, making them excel in 1v1 situations. They will need to have a good understanding with the striker, but also with the fullbacks, either cutting inside to give the fullback space or staying wide and allowing for the overlap. The striker...
Yeah, I never thought about how the forwards would actually, those wingers would actually have to interact with those fullbacks, especially if the fullback's going to be expected to play up on that side of the pitch. So that creates a numbers mismatch up there. So players need to understand their roles pretty well to know, hey, if the winger is coming up this side of the pitch, I need to bump over into the to give us four up there at the front. Yeah, so I never thought about the interaction between these players, or just basically understanding your role. If you know your job and you know what your role is supposed to be, then I don't think you really have to be yelling at each other or communicating vocally, but you can know where to go if you know your role.
In the 4-3-3 can vary greatly based on the tactics of the manager. In some teams, they rely on a strong target man to latch onto any long balls and play the wingers in behind, or to get on the end of any crosses into the box. While in other teams, the centre forward is a lot more dynamic, often playing as a false 9 and freeing up the box for the wingers to move into. With a strong target man, we can see this with Antoine Griezmann at Barcelona, with Messi and Dembele looking for the layoff or crossing the ball to Griezmann for a headed goal. With a false 9, we can see this in PSG, with Keane coming short and freeing up the space for Mbappe and Di Maria to move.
Okay, so I think y'all tell me if I'm wrong here, and I probably am. But so I was always under the impression that Messi was a striker, and then I remember some folks telling me he's not a striker, he's a winger, and by being a forward, being up there on the wing, if he is the recipient of passes from the striker, does that mean that they played with a false 9? That the striker is dropping back to kind of to play that false 9 position so he can play the ball to his wingers, and that means that Messi ends up being on the receiving end of a lot of the offense because they're playing with a false 9. Maybe I'm conflating this concept or not completely understanding it, and I'm sure I have some knowledgeable fans who can let me know in the comment section below, but I'm trying to grasp it.
So the 4-3-3 isn't going to work for everyone, and it does require the team to be excellent passers and be able to move the ball through tight spaces. Now let's examine this further by taking a look at the main attacking threats it possesses. Before looking at the main attacking dynamics, there are two key words that you need to keep in mind when talking about the 4-3-3. The first word is triangles. Just by looking at the basic shape of a 4-3-3, you can see the amount of triangles
I caught that.
Creates. There's triangles in the defense, there's triangles in the midfield, and there's triangles in attack. By dividing the pitch horizontally, we see that these shapes provide an excellent cover all up the pitch that helps.
I said that when I watched my Tiki Taka video. I'm like, dude, there's triangles appearing everywhere on this field, and they're playing the ball around in these little triangles. And so that makes sense in a 4-3-3.
The ball upfield, acting as a sort of step ladder from one zone to the next. And when dividing the pitch vertically, we can see that this formation will always feature players in key positions such as the half spaces, with at least 2 players in each of the 5 zones. Triangles are a fantastic way of bypassing opposition players, as a player who is receiving the ball will always have at least 2 options available to him. The second word to keep in mind is interchangeability. While I'm not sure if this is a word, I'm certain of the importance that this plays within the formation. For the 4-3-3 to truly be used effectively, it requires the team to constantly move and cover other teammates' runs. For example, if the fullback pushes up, then the CDM will shift out wide to cover any defensive holes. If the winger moves inside, then their centre attacking midfielder can move out to the wing to stretch the opposition. The constant movement and position changes are what truly make this formation effective.
Right.
Now let's move on to the main attacking dynamics. As with all modern tactics, the 4-3-3 is at its best when building up play from the back line. Compared to other popular formations in the modern game, the 4-3-3 is more narrow and direct formation and will attempt to create passing lanes through the midfield to reach the striker. When starting play, if the opposition is pressing the two centre-backs, then the CDM can drop between them and help shift the ball. Given that if the opposition midfielder now presses with a front three, they will be outnumbered in midfield. Or if the CDM stays slightly higher up the pitch, one of the fullbacks can drop alongside the centre-backs to create a 3v2 situation and overcome the first offensive line. The most important task for the midfield is to move the ball rapidly. Against the 4-4-2, the 4-3-3 will always outnumber the midfield too, and will force the opposition wingers to come help support the two centre mids, subsequently freeing up the wing for the fullbacks to shift into. The three midfielders should also aim to be on staggered lines and create triangle passing options. Given the importance of the midfield three, it's vital that they are in constant movement and shifting into areas high up the pitch. Let's take a look at some of the movements that are common with the ball shifting out wide to the fullbacks. From here, the winger could come short to drag the opposition fullback out of position, freeing up the space for the centre mid to move into. By doing this, the team can create an overload on the wing, and will also free up the centre for the striker to drop deep and lay the ball off to either the box-to-box midfielder or even the other winger cutting inside. Another example could see the winger move into the half space, and with the fullback unloading the ball to the midfield, overlapping on the wing.
Yeah, you've always got to be looking for where that open space is, where that extra number is. And so movement and position is key, because whenever that open space opens up, then you know where your passing lane is. I think. I think I'm starting to understand it. I'm not going to lie. He's moving a little faster. I'm trying to catch up. I'm listening quick. I'm listening with my college ears now. It's like I'm in class again.
And stretching the opposition's back four. The 4-3-3 is also an excellent formation at exposing space on the opposite wing. The term tiki-taka is not just a fancy word used to describe intricate passes, but is also a fantastic tactic that forces the opposition to commit more.
Yeah, it leaves that entire side of the pitch open.
And by doing this, we'll usually free the space on the other flank for a quick switch of play, where the winger or fullback can find themselves in a 1v1 situation. Further up the pitch, when entering the final third,
back to where
is where the box-to-box midfielder and the centre-attacking midfielder have a big impact on their attacking creativity. The attacking mid will usually shift from side to support the transitional phase before providing precise passes in behind, while the box-to-box midfielder can act as a backwards pass if needed if there's little space to move into. When moving into the opposition's box, it's common for the 4-3-3 to have an incredible amount of attacking players available. The three forwards will occupy the box, the two midfielders will be used as support on each flank, and the width will usually be provided by one of the two fullbacks, while the other will often move further infield and add to their defensive numbers. The inverted fullback we see under Pep Guardiola is an excellent example of this. This final position leaves a lot of options available for the team to exploit. The fullback could cut down the flank and cross to the striker, or he could choose to lay the ball off to one of the centre mids, attempting some quick overlaps and 1-2 passing plays, or even take an effort from outside the box, as many creative cams are capable of doing from this position. The advantages of this formation is that the attacking threats it possesses in the final third can't always be structured or analysed, and can be created by a moment of individual genius by one of the players, making it extremely difficult to defend against. Now, although it does commit a lot of players on the attack, it is still a very reliable defensive lineup.
Alright, let's see how it defends.
In the final third, there can be many players pushing the opposition's back line, but the 4-3-3 is still able to retain its defensive shape, usually with the two centre-backs, the holding mid, and at times one of the full-backs. These 3 or 4 players are often enough to close down the opposition's team's striker and win any loose balls, and as a result, the 4-3-3 is an excellent formation for pinning teams back and pressing high up the pitch. No formation embodies the high press better than the 4-3-3. From Ajax in 1995 to Liverpool in 2019, this lineup is excellent at winning possession back early and venting any attacking threat. With the ball in possession of the goalkeeper, the striker will usually close down the space and force the keeper into one direction. With the ball shifting into the centre-backs, one of the centre-mids can press the other centre-back, and the winger will cover the full-back. The CDM in this case will cover whichever attacking mid has moved up, and will attempt to block any passing lanes into the middle of the pitch. By blocking the team into a specific area, it forces the opponents to think fast or to go long, which can often lead to a mistake and help the team turn over possession frequently. And when the team is able to regain possession, the player on the ball will immediately have players around him to help start their attack.
Starts off a counter-attack.
If the opposition is able to break down the press, then the 4-3-3 will usually shift into a 4-5-1 or 4-1-4-1 formation. The wingers will drop in alongside the midfielders, and together will aim to push play out wide. Another advantage of this formation is that having 3 midfielders will create a lot of congestion in the middle of the pitch, which will make it hard for teams to make any substantial plays on the edge of the box.
And I'm guessing, because it seems like the 4-4-3 is effective at condensing the pitch, like getting all of the players into one section. So it opens up space for a counterattack, especially if you regain position in an area like this. I'm guessing that a fullback could run the length of a pitch and start off basically a counter run or something like that. Because it congests so much area, it easily defines where the open spaces are. At least that's how I'm thinking about it. As a defender, I'm thinking, wow, if we can collapse everything into one part of the field, or trap things and force things into one part of the field, then it leaves other parts of the pitch open to for counterattacking possibilities and opportunities, especially if we regain possession. Because I think that my philosophy with any kind of sport is trying to regain the possession. I really like possession play. So we'll see.
Will attempt to attack down the flanks, where it's easier to defend as they can use the touchline as an extra defender. In the final third, the two centre-backs will be tasked with clearing headers, and the three midfielders will attempt to gather any loose balls to start their attacking phase and potentially hit teams on the counter. On the back foot, teams in a 4-3-3 can sometimes choose to defend with 7 players, and the attacking 3 can stick high up the pitch, given that if they defend effectively, this can immediately create a counter-attacking opportunity and put the opposition on the back foot. Just like with all formations, the 4-3-3 is excellent when every part is moving together and the team is working as a unit. However, if this unit breaks down, it can be vulnerable to some specific attacking moves. First off, if the team gets a bit too excited and commits both fullbacks to the attack, then this formation can be vulnerable to counterattacks, specifically down the wings. While the center
never commit both fullbacks to attack unless you're emergency situation, because look at all that open space. You're just leaving the opportunity for a counterattack. That's don't do that. Always leave a fullback back in the defense.
Have a good amount of cover, the flanks can often be exposed to balls over the midfield line and into pockets of space behind the fullbacks. Secondly, this formation requires constant work from the centre midfielders, and will require excellent stamina and a fantastic work rate to support the team. If the opposition is able to close them down effectively and not give them any space, then the 4-3-3 will have no attacking power and will struggle to get the ball into the final third. Finally, one other issue that this formation can bring is if the wingers don't track back. While it is an excellent attacking formation, players
that must be why the midfield for Barcelona was so powerful. To have Xavi and Iniesta and Busquets like that must be because after watching that video of Busquets and his skill and ability of retaining possession and the kind of moves that he could put on to, they were so formidable, and they're the key for the whole thing to work. The forwards and the attacking, the scoring players get all of the press, but that midfield with Iniesta and Xavi and Busquets was kind of like the driving force of that. And I'm guessing the same with Real Madrid when they have Cruz and Modric. I don't know who the other part of their midfield was, but I'm seeing kind of how that's an important key here.
Stuck in this mentality of constantly attacking, and can often find themselves too reluctant to perform their defensive duties. In a scenario like this, it would be too easy for the opposition to be in a 2v1 situation out wide and deliver balls into the box. So, to recap, the 4-3-3 is an excellent offensive formation for teams that like to move the ball quickly and attack with high numbers. The natural shape of this formation allows players to always have a passing option available and to exploit spaces in the opposition's back line, while also having a strong defensive backbone to rely on. Now, although the 4-3-3 does seem to have lost some of its popularity to other formations such as the 4-2-3-1 or the 3-4-3, it will definitely still be one of the most used formations for years to come. Now, what do you think of the 4-3-3? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you like this type of video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
I like the 4-3-3. In fact, I think it's the only one that I really understand. I've been playing FIFA a lot recently, and I always playing in a 4-3-3. And
I like it for several reasons. It kind of fits my personality and my personal philosophy of coaching, which is that I love possession of the ball. My basic philosophy is if I have the ball longer than you do, there's less opportunity for you to score, and there's more opportunity for me to score. So I'm going to try to play a game of keep away, and I want to retain possession as absolutely long as I can. And so I love offensive-minded formations and tactics that are going to allow me to score as much as possible, while also having the ability to be flexible and actually have a defensive prowess. But I would rather play an offensive style and just really hone in and focus and preach and display fundamental football, so that way we're controlling possession. Because if we're controlling possession, I don't need a formation that's going to be that defensive, because our best defense here is going to be the fact that we always have the ball. That's kind of my thought process here. I think the 4-3-3 is probably my favorite formation, and probably if I was coaching is probably the one that I would go with, because it fits my philosophy of offensive. I'm an offensive-minded coach, especially in American football, and I probably would be so in real football. If you like what you saw in this video, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to definitely be checking out more tactical videos. If you like these tactical videos, then let me know down in the comments what you want me to talk about and learn. Like I said, I do coach American football. I know American football pretty well, and so I love the tactical aspect of the game, and I really enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. 2 months ago, I knew absolutely nothing about soccer. I was a clueless American football coach, and I wanted to make some money on YouTube. And I thought, you know what? What gets views is the sport that the entire world watches. Let me try that. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know any of the players. In fact, I didn't even know who Lionel Messi was. That seems like ancient history to me now. I'm playing the sport now poorly. I'm playing it poorly, but I'm trying. I didn't expect football to drastically change my life. I've let myself go so far. You know, I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about New Year's. I'm treating it like a restart. I let myself go after being an athlete in high school. And I'm so sick of being a former athlete. I'm sick of being the guy who used to be able to do it. When my guys are training on the practice field, preparing for a game, I'm not doing any drills with them. I'm not demonstrating that I still have something left to offer. I sit on the side like a fat ex-athlete. And this year, I've got to do something different about that, man. I'm going into 5 years of marriage. I'm diabetic, type 2. My blood sugar in the last few weeks has been plus 500. We're looking at serious. If I don't get this under control, I could die. And I'm not ready to die. I'm not ready to be former athlete who never got his stuff together and who leaves a widow and a loving family behind. That's not about to be my story. Football making me a better man. I'm not gonna live like this. Had to go till the drill. When I started this channel, I certainly didn't expect to be doing a health and fitness vlog. That was not in the cards. But I gotta be honest with you, my football journey is the reason I'm doing this. I was complacent. I was pretty content to just continue living the way I was, doing a lot of damage to my body along the way. You know, I was once an athlete. When I was in high school, I played American football, I played basketball. We don't talk about the year that I played baseball. It was ugly. But I was an athlete. I played sports, and I miss being a part of a team. I miss being an athlete, and I miss training for something and having a goal in mind. And it's truly motivated me to change. Could I get a strawberry pineapple metabolism boost, 20 ounce?
Anything else?
That'll be it.
Oh, great. We'll see you later.
Thanks. I know breakfast is supposed to be the most important meal of the day, but I'm gonna substitute it with a Smoothie King. This is Metabolism Boost, strawberry pineapple, one of my favorite flavors. I have a heavy day of editing today, and so I'm gonna be sitting down a lot for many hours, and so I decided I'd get this morning. I'm gonna go try to run 2 miles. Probably will end up giving up at 1. I am still hopelessly out of shape, but I'm gonna try to run today before I start editing. Anyway, my meal. Here goes. So, the reason I was bringing it up is because I wanted to hear you say the 2 most annoying words that ever...
Roll Tide!
If you were to give like one of the reasons why, one of your drawbacks, one of the reasons why you've never watched it in your life, what would it be?
And I mean this, y'all. Like, I have never sat down and watched soccer before.
I've played it like when I've been to Mexico before on some mission trips and played soccer with some kids there, and they smoked me. I mean, it wasn't even. These are like 7-year-old kids smoking me in soccer, which doesn't say much because I'm garbage. But one of my biggest drawbacks is I see these score postings, and it'll be like 1-0, and that's like the final of the game. And I know what it's like to watch American baseball and to sit there bored out of your mind the entire time and a game in like that. And I'm like, I don't know if I have time to invest in that.
Okay, so that was originally my biggest drawback too. The games are extremely low scoring. However, what you'll find and what I have found to love is the defensive struggle. Like, and when you really kind of understand what's going on, like when you see the ball, like what's happening, and you kind of understand the tactics surrounding it. Some of those 0-0 games or 0-0, those games are riveting.
So is there no overtime in soccer?
So in the World Cup, yes, or in like cup finals, yeah,
okay.
In those kind of games, they will have what's called extra time, and it's 30 minutes. They have 15-minute halves, so it's basically 2 mini halves. And
or normal halves 30 minutes apiece. Cool.
No, normal halves are 45 minutes apiece. So it's
they run around for 45 minutes.
Yes, they run around 45 minutes. There's a 15-minute break, and then there's 45 more minutes. And here, the crazier thing about it is,
15 minutes.
There's no timeouts, so there's no stoppage of play.
Is the clock continuously running?
The clock continuously runs.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is, if there's like an injury, if there's like an injury or somebody gets hurt or something happens that actually ends up meaning that the ball is not being played, that's what they call stoppage time. Okay. So they don't stop the game. They keep the clock running, but the ref's clock will start every time that there's a stoppage.
Okay.
So even if it's like 6 or 7 seconds, like the ball's not being played, there's a stoppage, his clock's gonna run. At the end of those 45 minutes, someone will hold up a scorecard and it'll basically say 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever, and they play an extra 5 minutes at the end of the half, because basically the idea is there needs to be 45 minutes of continuous play.
So when that happens, they still only get 15 minutes.
Wait.
Like of halftime. So like they're not going to halftime and then coming out and playing this extra 4 minutes. Like they're at the end of the first half.
Right.
There's no quarter breaks.
So halftime, halftime ends up being sometimes around 49 minutes of play instead of 45. And then the game will end up normally going about 96 minutes at the end of the game. So yeah. And basically the whole time there's constant movement, constant motion. The tackling. So my biggest drawback before I ever got into it, I hated what we call flopping, which they call diving. But basically, we see it in basketball. We see it in other sports. It's dramatic, so you can get a call from the official. But to be fair, there are some brutal injuries in football or soccer. There's some brutal injuries in it. Like you're sliding at full speed sometimes to make what they call a tackle. As long as you go for the ball, you can do that. You can take someone's legs out. But as long as you get the ball. Right? You can't just go straight for their legs. You've got to be making a play on the ball. But if they trip over you and they break their ankle, you were making a play on the ball. So it can be, especially European football, like English football and German football, can be brutal. Really, really like physical play. You can bump and move each other out of the way. You can't tackle like like we would tackle. Anyway, so that's the main difference of the sport. There's no stoppage. That's the number one thing that most of my subscribers love about the sport.
Okay.
They can't stand American sports because of the stoppage of play. And every single one of our major sports, except for ice hockey, and even then there's some, I don't know much about hockey, but like our sports have stoppage so that we can have commercial breaks.
Yeah. So soccer doesn't have commercial breaks?
No, there's no commercials. So the only commercials that you get during a game will be during halftime. So you get 15. You can actually budget your day. You know exactly how long you're going into this. Basically, with roughly there might be 8 or 9 extra minutes at the end of the game. But you know that if it starts at 2:00, it's going to end roughly around 4 because there's going to be 45 to 50 minutes of play for the first half, 15 minutes of commercials, 45 to 50 minutes of the second half, and whatever the score is at the end of that game, that's the end. If it's 0-0. Okay, now let me explain how this works. So you're probably wondering,
how do you rank if a team is going 0-0 all the time? Who's
Right.
number one? Who's number two?
Okay, so let's just take one league for instance. Everyone gets on me for only looking at the Premier League. It's the best league so far. But there's leagues all over the world. But let's just take the Premier League for instance. There are 20 teams in the league. Okay. And they have what is called a table. So at the end of the game, if both teams are tied, each team is awarded 1 point on the table. Okay. If a team wins, they're awarded 3 points. So if you lose the game, just goose egg, no points.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is during the year, you're fighting for progression on that table. So right now in the Premier League, Arsenal have, I think they're at 49 points. Maybe they just got beat by Man City. So Manchester City's actually at the head of the league right now. But so you add up points throughout the year, and at the end of, it's different. They don't have like they don't have a playoffs the way that we have a playoffs.
What sounds like I'm into disc golf, and I'm about to make the correlation if you guys don't know what that is. So disc golf has a disc golf points tournament at the end of the season, and you get points every majors tournament that you play in based on how well you finish in that tournament. So you're finishing first, you're getting all these points, and it's not just how well you finish, but it's also how well you play in between each rounds. So like your rounds are being scored as well, and so like only a certain amount of players get invited to that points tournament when it's all said and done. So that's kind of like the same thing.
Very close,
Okay.
yeah. And then they have these cups, like, so throughout the year, not only are you playing for the trophy of your league, but you're also playing in like the FA Cup. You're playing for there's the UEFA Champions League. So you've got these different leagues that go on, and there's the cups happen. So like right now, Champions League is playing right now.
Okay.
But that progresses throughout the year. So at the end of this round of the Champions League, everyone goes back to their club season. And then like a couple months will pass, and they'll come back and they'll play the quarterfinals.
Okay.
And so that like the cup will start like and will end 6 months later.
What in the world?
Yeah, it's very different from the way that we.
I mean, we have playoffs, and it's like
and ours is one and done, or like a series.
So you can lose in the cup games. Oh gosh, I sound like a rookie. I'm so sorry.
No, you are a rookie.
It's like, you can lose like a game or whatever in that, but as long as you win a couple more, you can still make it to the.
I'm actually not sure because I only joined this Champions League in the round of 16. So I don't know what happens if it's like the World Cup, which this is where I'm going to sound like a noob. If it's like the World Cup, then they have what's called a group stage. Okay. So you're in a group with 4 different teams, and you play each team in your group. Whoever is the top 2 teams from that group progress to the next round. And then from then on, it becomes a basically one and done. Except in the Champions League, one team will play on their home turf. Mm-hmm. It's called the first leg, and then they'll play another game on the other team's turf.
Okay.
The reason they do that in the Champions League is because sometimes you'll have a club from Spain playing against a club from England, and so it's not fair to the club from Spain to be playing in England because you've got the home crowd fans, and it's
in different climates and stuff.
Different
like that.
climate, everything. So it's fair to have both teams play a leg at their own home.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's what's happening now. I actually haven't seen past the round of 16 now, but so yeah, you have got these cups going on now. The crazy thing, and this is the thing that blew me away when I got into this, and it's still one of the funniest videos that like I get comments on it to this day, like people laughing at I was so shook at the idea that you can lose your spot in the league. So they have this idea of relegation, which I think would be beautiful for American sports. It's amazing. But let me explain how it works. So there are the bottom 3 teams in the league they have a relegation fight at the end of the year, basically. So if you're at the bottom 3 of the league, every year you get demoted to the league underneath you. So there are 4. Let's take English football for example. There are 4 professional leagues, and then there are I think there's 11 tiers. There's a bunch of tiers underneath there, and there's the Premier League, the English Football Championship. No, something like that. There's four leagues. Then there's League One and League Two, and basically, if you're at the bottom 3 of the Premier League, you can drop down to the next league, and if you're at the bottom 3 of that league, you get demoted to the next league underneath that. So basically,
and this league down here just holds like all the.
So
you get bumped out of that league as well.
Yes, you can get
What
demoted.
happens?
So you go bankrupt. So
Oh shoot!
So you can not only lose your team, your club could end up just dissolving, because in English football, you're not allowed to be bad. There's no like, you don't get draft picks because you're the worst.
Like you can't be the Browns and the Jets every
No,
year?
you don't just get to keep existing if you suck.
Wow.
So
I actually don't hate that.
No, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
such an
that's-
American idea.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look, don't be garbage, and you want.
Right. Meritocracy.
Could you imagine what the pressure would be like on coaching hires and like the draft? Everything elevates by a million.
It's insane. So So managers will get fired for just losing points on the table. Like, dude, you're slipping. We got to get you out of here. Get somebody else in, because you're trying to fight to stay in the league.
Wow.
So these bottom 3 teams, what ends up happening, one negative of it is it becomes a revolving door a little bit.
Sure.
So like the team that gets demoted is still leagues better than the teams in their league, so they can get promoted pretty quickly. But here's the awesome thing. Go ahead.
I don't want to cut you off, but I've got to know. So this bottom tier team in last gets demoted. Does the top team of the last league get promoted?
Yes. So
Okay.
the top 3 teams of the second tier move, and they just replace.
Oh,
So they
wow,
swap
okay.
places.
Okay.
So
I can see the revolving door now.
So you want to be fighting for promotion in one league, and this other team is fighting to stay above the relegation line.
Okay.
Every year. So every year there's going to be 3 new teams in the Premier League and 3 new teams in the Championship League.
Wow.
And so one thing that's awesome about this is, theoretically, you and I could go overseas. Now they wouldn't stand for this. That's Americans coming over there. But we theoretically could go over there, start a club with our friends, and if we were good enough and we played the system well enough, theoretically it's impossible, but we could work our way up to the Premier League. Anyone can start a club, and anyone can,
as long as you have the funding and the players.
Right, and you compete and you win. So basically you're rewarded for winning. So what we should do, since I'm not going to have a video for you to react to in this video particularly,
Okay.
we should get you to react to this show called Welcome to Wrexham. Okay. Now, I've watched the show, and it's what made me fall in love with it. It's what made this my tied for first favorite sport. Like, I love it.
Wow.
It's by watching Welcome to Wrexham.
Wait, tied for first, like, so you're like right there with
Yeah, it's
American
with the
football.
NFL with me. American football, and
wow, man.
It became an obsession, dude. Like, I really fell in love with it.
Wait. As a Cowboys fan, is there a team that you have chosen that is also just perpetually letting you down?
So, this is a ongoing saga on the channel. People continue to comment, have you picked a team to support yet?
Okay.
There are about 5 teams that every time I see them play, I end up rooting for them. And one of those teams, I haven't chosen one like to be like all in on. One of those teams is the Cowboys of the Premier League.
Well, when you say that, is it because they're letting you down, or is it because they have like the money to bring in resources?
So they're one of they call the Big 5. It's the Tottenham Hotspur. Okay, they're one of the Big 5 teams.
Say that name again.
Tottenham Hotspur. So they call them Spurs.
Okay.
But that's the name of the club. Also, something new about this video is so sporadic.
That's okay.
I'm just regurgitating everything I've learned.
Yeah. This is fun.
Something about the clubs there, they don't have names like our teams do.
Like nicknames?
Right. They will have 3 or 4 nicknames for the team. So you might hear Manchester United. You might hear them called the Reds. You might hear them called I don't know them. The Dragons, I think. But I can't remember. But there's...
So what's titling their jerseys? Is it just their
United,
club name?
the name of the club. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but Tottenham Hotspur is the name of the club, and their nickname is Spurs.
All right.
Arsenal are the Gunners. They have like a logo of a cannon.
Nice.
So Arsenal is one of the good teams. Everyone keeps telling me that I should support Arsenal, but so Tottenham though, they're the team that they've got really talented roster, and they will do amazing things, and they will look like one of the best teams. And then they'll do what they call Spurs things, or they will bottle, which is choking. They will end up like losing. The other day they lost 4-1 to Leicester, and Leicester's just like a mid-table team. And so it's like they can beat Manchester City or they can lose to Leicester, and it's just like it's totally the Cowboys.
So in comparison, they can beat the Philadelphia Eagles or lose to the
or
Cleveland
lose
Browns.
to or almost lose to the Texans, like that kind of thing. So
Yikes.
It's very similar to the Cowboys as currently constructed. The only difference is Tottenham have never won anything significant ever in their history, and they've been around since the 1880s. So they've never won anything.
I feel like you have a natural draw to teams.
Kind of, except the Cowboys have such a storied history. Like there's championship pedigree behind that.
Until you hit the 2000s.
In my lifetime, it's basically living as a Tottenham fan. So I kind of see myself in the fan base a little bit because it's like there's big expectations, but there's also disappointment. And anyway, but there's also I root for United a lot when I see them play, and they would be maybe a more accurate description of the Cowboys. They were once amazing. In fact, most people know who Manchester United are, even if you don't know anything about the sport.
That's the red and blue stripe? Yeah, okay. I see those jerseys all the time. Is it
red? It's red, for sure. Red and gold, I think.
Is it red and gold? Is it the ones where the stripes go down like this?
Let me look it up.
I feel like there's a red and blue one that I've seen.
Oh, no. You're thinking of Barcelona. That's where Messi played. FC Barcelona.
Okay, yeah.
But Manchester United is a English team. They're red and gold.
Let me see if I've seen their jerseys.
It's just red.
Oh, I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that jersey pattern.
Yeah. Ronaldo played for him for a little bit, but now he's playing in a.
So clear something up for me because somebody told me this or something, or maybe I read it one time. I don't know if it's a fluke or whatever. These players, can they be subcontracted to other teams at any given point?
No,
like from a club.
I don't think so.
They can't do like 3-game contracts and stuff like that.
No, y'all can tell me. I've never heard of this. They do have what's called a transfer window, which is basically like the trade
deadline.
Yeah, except it happens once in January and once in another month. I don't remember when that is.
Okay.
But basically, you have like a month that you can get transfers in. I don't know about I've never heard about that.
Because I don't know, and maybe this is like a lower league thing or something like that. But I could have sworn one time I saw like a player had. He signed like a 3-game. His season was over, so to say, but he was good enough to play on this other squad, and the club loaned him or whatever. For
yes, there is a loan. I don't know anything about this. You guys are gonna have to actually educate me still. I don't know much about loans and things, but I know when I'm playing FIFA, there's like this loan. You can be on loan for a club. Yeah, y'all need to explain that to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because that sounded so cool to me. Because I'm like I'm thinking about as an American football fan, if I'm good enough on my team, like let me think of somebody who's on a garbage team that's really good. What's his name? Myles Garrett that plays for the Browns. Every year they're terrible, but he is one of the best defensive ends in the league. And it's like they're not even playoff eligible, but another team comes in and picks them up. Yeah. That would be cool, Like then you end up with these superstars,
Oh yeah, Cowboys would be.
Y'all got the money, man.
I would take advantage of that.
Y'all got the money.
That's another thing with English football and whatever. There is no salary cap.
Wow.
So it's the teams who are at the top of the league often stay at the top of the league because they have the resources, and most people they tend to be okay with that. They don't really mind as much. Like to the victor go the spoils kind of attitude. Sure. It's like if you've won and you have a history of winning, you should be able to use the resources that you've earned.
Is every player on that team making comparable amounts of money, or is there you got absolute studs that are making hundreds of millions of dollars, and you got these guys making $50,000?
Oh, they're going to definitely allocate more resources to players who are of higher caliber.
Gotcha.
So they'll sign like a guy like Ronaldo for like $300 million or something like that.
Gotcha.
They'll give them extra.
So because the reason I'm asking is because there's with the NFL National Football League. There's the NFLPA, which is the Players Association, which has come in and said you can't pay a player less than this much. So there's a floor that you can hit, and so I didn't know if there was something like that in soccer.
I'm honestly not sure. There are what they call financial fair play rules.
Okay,
but I don't know what those rules are. So I'm at the point in my journey where I know the sport well enough now. I'm kind of getting acclimated to it, but I don't know all the inner workings of it. But. Yeah. Well, there was something else that I was wanting to explain, and I don't even remember at this point.
I feel like I've just been hit with a fire hydrant of information.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I love
information.
it, dude. This is cool.
So
I've never had like questions answered about this or anything because I've never asked them, and so
Right.
this is really
So something that would be cool, and the reason I wanted to do this video is I'm going to take you on maybe a few reactions just to kind of like show you some of the stuff that I've been looking into.
sure.
One of the things would be awesome to get you to react to Welcome to Wrexham.
Okay.
So this is the show. Now let me explain the show. That was where my train of thought was
Got
going.
you.
Okay, Welcome to Wrexham is a documentary about a club, Wrexham AFC, it's a football club in Wales. Okay, they're in the fifth tier of fifth tier of English football, meaning they're not even a professional club. So they're a tier under. They were once in the Championship League, which is right under the Premier.
Wow.
So they had been playing at a very high level, good, they had never been in the Premier League, but they were always, a professional club, and then they got relegated, and then they got relegated, and then they got relegated. Now they're not even a professional club.
Wow.
But the community surrounding Wrexham are so, like, just the loyalty that they have for their club is, and they've been through just the worst experience for decade, like 15 years. They have not been able to get out of that fifth tier for 14 years.
So like players getting hurt and leaving and stuff, or what?
Yeah, and just the funding,
heartbreak games,
and they've lost so much funding because every time you get relegated, you can only use the amount of resources that your club makes, and so there's financial penalty for being relegated and all these kind of things. So it's the hardest league to get out of, basically. And so what ends up happening is, have you watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
All right. So Rob McElhenney fell in love with English football because one of his, I guess, managers or somebody who worked with him in the writers' room was he's from England, and he got him interested in the game. And at first, Rob was like, I don't like this game. Like, it's not like American football.
Yeah.
And then he fell in love with it, and he decided, hey, I want to buy a club, but I don't have the money to buy a club. So he gives a phone call to Mr. Deadpool himself.
Reynolds?
And Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought Wrexham AFC, and they are now the owners of this Welsh football club.
I am immediately interested now.
It's so interesting. So they took over they had known nothing about managing a sports club, but now they're like shepherding and like they're trying to.
That is the most Ryan Reynolds things I've
Yes.
ever heard of. And Ryan Reynolds is probably one of my favorite actors right now. Not of all time, but one of my favorite current actors that are out there. Because he's just such a funny guy. And I feel like I know what I'm gonna get every time I see him. So like thinking of him like managing a English football team is hilarious.
So they come in, they buy this club, they set people in place who know how to manage and run a club, but they're the owners, and so they make decisions. The whole city had to vote on whether or not they would let them win, and they won by like 94%.
Wow.
They let them come in. They brought some money to the club. Ryan Reynolds is able to get TikTok to sponsor the club, so they wear TikTok on their jerseys now.
That's cool.
And so a lot of things happen. They take some big swings. They bought some players. And so now they're really fighting. And I think this year they might get promoted. They might actually get back into the professional tier. So it's a fascinating series. You'll see the heartbreak of a loss. Like it's devastating.
Yeah, because to lose at that level when you're trying to make it up, that makes sense.
And so it's a really, really fascinating watch. It's what made me fall in love with the sport. In fact, one of my biggest videos right now is it's cleverly titled. It says, "Welcome to Wrexham has ruined American sports for me." It's not necessarily true. I'm still a fan of our sports, but it really did. Like for a little while, I was just like, "This is so great!"
Yeah, it was like this changes the game.
Yeah. So anyway, we should get you to react to Welcome to Wrexham. If you guys would like to see that, you know what you need to do. You need to smash the like button.
Yeah.
You need to hit us up in the comments.
Yo,
this is Corey.
Yeah, we didn't never even introduce me. I'm Corey. I'm with Luke on another channel called Creative Criticals. Yeah, we react to music videos and other things. And Luke has shared with me his journey. We're obviously really close. And he shared with me his journey of how you guys have been just so incredible and so influential into his life. and so supportive of his journey. And so I'm really interested in interacting with y'all and having some questions answered and a little bit of bantering, because I'm telling y'all, I'm one of the biggest football fans, American football fans, that you'll ever meet and talk to. So to have this kind of back and forth with y'all over soccer, it's going to be good.
Well, and it's fun too because there's a lot of little like playful jabs. Like, so what they have found is that I've been very respectful.
Okay.
And I've kind of gained some trust. So we've got a nice community here where it's okay. Like, we have a little bit of back and forth between the Brits and
that's
the
healthy, man.
Americans.
That's healthy.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see Corey in more videos, please let me know. I'm gonna definitely get him involved.
And y'all just gonna have grace with me because I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know a single thing about this sport. I'm really excited. Like, I hope they want to see me react because I'm excited to watch some of these videos.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I guess we'll hop out of here.
Yeah.
See you guys in the next video.
See y'all later.
All right, it is 6:43 a.m. Just got off work. Headed over to play a little ball this morning. I guess this is what you call dedication. I'm very tired, but here we go.
Alright, so a little bit about me. I am an overweight American trying to get my life back by playing the beautiful game. Today I had the opportunity to train with a real footballer and get his thoughts about the current state of football. He taught me some things that I did not know, as well as gave me quite the workout.
I'm going to die. I'm so tired. Everything hurts. Running is impossible.
I think this year I've got 3 teams that I'm going to watch.
Okay.
And I'm going to because I'm not sure. I don't want to jump to it. I'm going to watch 3 teams all year long and see, these are the teams. I'm going to root for all 3 of them and see which one actually I like their play style the best. It'll be Tottenham, United, and Brighton.
Right.
Yeah,
Brighton surprised last season. I think Brighton scouting has been very good over the last 2 to 3 years. Wherein they have, Bissouma left Brighton and went to Tottenham. Caicedo, one of a very good midfielder right now, being chased by Chelsea. It's been about 2 years. Man, it's taking so long for Chelsea to make that signing.
Yeah.
But also, the McAllister and man, when you look at Mitoma, that boy is a baller. And they have kids coming through the system like a Ferguson and a Manchester United and Arsenal old boy like Welbeck still, getting among the goals. So Brighton definitely a solid team. I love what they're doing with their scouting. I think they have really got it to a point where they understand the market, who they want and who they want for the systems. Zerbe will be a force to reckon with, bringing them to Europe for the first time. monetarily, a lot of these clubs aren't able to upkeep and be consistent because so like this season, right? Brighton already lost McAllister. Caicedo is probably on his way out. Next season, we don't know if Mitoma doesn't leave next summer. You understand? And then, you know, like you have all these young kids. So now you're starting to think, do we now have a feeder club in the Premier League like a Dortmund, you know, or a Leipzig? That's what they're all about. Like, we're gonna nurture them and then we're gonna send them out. You understand? So it's gonna be interesting how much, how serious they are in competing for title. Like I would say you finish in Europe last season, then the title. You know, you have to be thinking about top 4.
Right.
You know, like you have to be thinking about going as far in the Europa Cup as possible. You know, like but do you have the players?
Right.
Because remember, you're moving away from playing once every week, or sometimes if you have a double week, twice a week, to playing 2 to 3 times a week.
Right.
You know, so 2 to 3 times in 8 days. So is that something that they can maintain? Are they going to focus on Europe? Are they going to focus on the Premier League?
So you're playing extra games because you're in more trophies?
Yeah, you're in more tournaments. Because if they're in Europe now, Europa Cup, that means that they're going to play in the middle of the week, just like how the Champions League going to play in the middle of the week. So
I guess I knew this, but like that just started to dawn on me. Like, you don't just get put into every cup. Like, you have to fight to get there.
Oh yeah, and that doesn't include the fact that they're still going to have FA Cup and Carling Cup to negotiate. So where's the focus going to be?
Yeah.
You understand? The same thing like with a Newcastle. Newcastle also, we just need once a week.
Right.
Once a week we need to play, and they did focus on the what was that? The Carabao Cup. So you know they lost in the finals, but now
Champions League.
Yeah.
Aren't they in the Champions League?
Yeah, so they're in the Champions League.
Right.
They're going to be in those cups still. And, you know, they've brought in Tonali. I think that's a very good signing. And what they're doing is they're making signings that actually the coach knows what the DNA of the club is. You understand? The coach understands the DNA of the club, and he's bringing in tough players. Tough players.
Nice.
So that would be interesting to see how they move forward and what that dynamic look like. I think Manchester United, Ten Hag is getting his players. It will be very interesting to see how he moved forward this season. And you know, one of the things that my friends and I, we're just trying to trust the process.
If I am dead tomorrow, look no further than this man.
No, sir. No, sir. Well, how you feeling right now?
I'm good. I can go another round.
All right. So that is confirmation that he's okay.
When
I left him, he's okay, and he said that on camera, right? He said that on camera that he's good.
I'm good.
So
good.
So that's it.
Yeah. All right. He cannot be implicated in it. They're not going to have one in mine, I can tell you that much. He bought a Copa America soccer ball. Hold on. Isn't it beautiful? Copa America USA 2024. Now, I will say that this store actively hates our country. They have nothing that I can wear. And the only stuff they have is not my size. Definitely not my price range. So we're gonna go see.
Was it the cheapest kit? Was $140?
$140 for the cheapest kit.
We bought our tickets. We bought in at like $130 per ticket. We're sitting in decent seats. But as the game got closer, prices started to tick into the $300 and $400 category of the seats right below us in the section down. And to sit in club level seats, you're looking at $2,000.
Ticket price is ridiculous for any kind of sporting event in the States. So we're gonna see. I would imagine with something like this, like if you're really wanting to grow. We have to stop thinking like these federations actually have the best interest at heart. They're trying to make money.
They are, and to some degree, I get it.
Yeah.
You're a venue hosting an event, and okay, whatever. But I think the price gouging really came from people reselling.
Reselling the tickets.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If you want to do what's best for the game, dang it. If you want to do what's best for the game, I would recommend, dude, a sellout bash. Like, hey, tickets are $30, $40. All right. But like that, do a sellout. Do like, hey, tickets $30, $40, cheap tickets to the, get Americans in the door.
Yeah.
Like,
because then you're guaranteed, like if the game goes well, you're guaranteed long-term success. If this same stadium is hosting World Cup games, like why would you not go ahead and invest in making this a game that's accessible to everybody?
Yeah.
You go for the long term, but everybody's so short-sighted with this crap.
Yeah, I agree.
So we made it to Arlington with some time to kill, and we went to Texas Live, which has got to be like the coolest all-around sports bar and restaurant venue I've ever seen in my life. There was like 5 or 6 pubs, a bunch of restaurants connected, and there were people in every single room packed out watching the Euro games. So if you're here for the World Cup and you need a place to go, Texas Live is one of the coolest places I've ever been to. And seriously, I did not even get enough footage to show how many people were packed into each pub watching these Euros matches. You could barely walk around. So yeah, definitely check out Texas Live if you're here.
Nice. That's close. Let's go, Luke. Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. Come on, Luke.
And this is one of Corey's friends, and his attempt was quite memorable. So check this out.
Number 9, Cesar Menacho. Number 15, Gabriel Villamil. Number 17, Roberto. Lauren Malagun in the 44th minute. Longest aficionados por adotado.
USA! 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 USA!
At the end of the game, shout out to a fan of the channel who recognized me as we were walking out. Man, it is my bad that I didn't stop to take a picture with you, buddy. If you're watching this at all, comment in the comment section down below. Let me know who you are. And
we got to get him a t-shirt.
Yeah, we got to get you something for that. That was awesome. Yeah. Shout out to you, buddy.
That was pretty incredible, man.
That was a weird feeling, but a really cool feeling. So that was pretty awesome. Oh, aside from being very tired because we walked legitimately 6-7 miles today.
I sweated more the day than I have in a very long time.
Aside from that, you can tell I'm kind of hoarse. Lots of screaming.
Lots of screaming.
Lots of fun. I was telling Corey on the way out, that's the most fun I've had at a professional sporting event in my life. I gotta say, my initial thoughts, we're just gonna bounce off initial thoughts here. My initial reaction to the game is that, man, I was proud of the way that the United States fans showed up.
Oh, yeah.
They told us somewhere in the game that there was only like 48,000 people in the Roll Tide. There was only 48,000 people in attendance, but it felt, we were all saying, it felt like more like 70. Like it felt like it was more full. The noise level was really high. The thing that was encouraging to me is hearing American fans singing.
Yeah, it was nice.
Like we had the fan section, like the TIFO section.
It was lit, man.
They really did a good job of like orchestrating some songs. We got obviously some USA chants that were absolutely wild. Yeah. And as the game progressed, they got even louder and more obnoxious. It was awesome.
And man, we never forget the 4 or 5 rotation wave that went on.
We did the wave and it went around. The only reason it stopped is because there was a substitution on the field and everyone was applauding. That thing was still going and it had picked up steam. Every time the wave would come around the building, it picked up steam. It got louder, more people got involved.
It was beautiful.
It was fun. Lots of screaming because I thought we scored 3 goals. One of them was caught offside.
Yeah.
But
Which was a load of garbage, might have had.
Bro, it was a fantastic game. A lot of fun. I loved the vibe in the arena was cool.
It was.
Going into the game, you had the little kick around and in the parking lot.
It was cool, man.
What are your thoughts? What's your?
I was very proud, like you said, of how we showed up. I was also just amazed at how many people had the United States men's team merch. Like so many people were wearing the kits.
Bro, but the number of people who went all out with.
Painting their entire face
with gags. Like some people wearing the white wigs and
some folks were dressed up like Rocky Balboa, like the American boxer. Like it was cool stuff, man. They did it. I was really impressed with that. You know, so often. I think and you have those people throwing up signs, you know, they drove 1,700 miles or whatever to get there. I think what we saw right there was a concentrated pocket of actual fans. Yeah, and it was really cool, man. It was cool. I felt like we were amongst our people.
Well, so it's like it was a fraction of what we would experience in like a European atmosphere or like a nation that's got. But still, I would say it's definitely the first time I've been able to support my country in a game. And dude, singing the anthem was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
The excitement for the first goal was because it came so quick.
Gosh, it happened in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it
It's
came
crazy.
so fast. Like it was awesome. So, yeah, those are kind of my just processing it thoughts. I thought it was a great showing, and honestly, like I said, I've never had more fun. So I can only imagine what it'd be like to go actually take in a top game, you know, like a Champions League final or a World Cup game. Man, just can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? Like this was a Copa America, which is a big tournament.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that stadium? Because they're going to play games there.
Mm-hmm.
If we get, you know, 70,000, which it would not be hard to get,
No, it wouldn't.
you know, to pack out that stadium. If we can get American fans there, we'll have such a great time. So I was very pleased with how it went, and thought we could have had more goals. This guy got the prediction exactly right. Well, anyway, if you can check out Corey's channel, Corey McKinney FC.
That's right.
And he's gonna have a video, his own vlog of this experience.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna talk a little bit more, get into kind of some of the things we saw in the game, and have a discussion there. So go subscribe to his channel, go watch that video. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted, but man, it was fun. All right, see you guys in the next video.
Also, if you're going to be here for the World Cup in 2026 and you're going to be driving, make sure you stop at the greatest gas station in the world, Buc-ee's. It's here in the southern states.
What's up, guys? Thanks for clicking on the video. In today's video, I'm going to be testing out a tip that I found in one of my reels.
This happened to you? Try this.
A lot of times it will, you know, arc a little too high and it'll hit higher up on the wall, and I'll end up having to like move down the wall progressively because I don't really know how to get the ball. I hit the same spot over and over again. And so I came across some tips on YouTube Shorts, and so I'm gonna go try to implement some of these changes in my wall ball session today. While I'm training at the gym, I'm going to be, you know, hitting some weights today because I've been trying to gain that muscle mass again. See that tricep? You see that? Yeah, getting back into the gym again, just because I'm trying to get healthy. But also, I'm going to be practicing some football with the wall. So I will post the update of how that session goes. By the way, if you guys are interested in seeing my my health journey played out, I have started a second YouTube channel called Luke's Fitness Academy. So please go subscribe to that channel if you're interested in my health updates and just seeing me get back into athletic shape. I want to be an athlete again. That being said, I'll see you guys later at the gym.
guys? Excuse me, I am just cooking up some lunch. I've got to maximize the fuel for the body if I'm going to continue to play with the intensity that I am trying to train. Now, in addition to these wall ball sessions throughout the week, last week was the first week that I played every day of the week. And one of the things that I did was I started just jogging up and down the court with the ball at my feet. Now, this was a very helpful practice for me, because what I found is that while I was dribbling, I was getting, a better touch. So the first time that I ever kicked a ball around, which was like about 2 months ago now, when I went to practice, Isaac had me dribble up and down the court. We made it up and down the court 2 times before I was actually wheezing, like out of breath. I can't do this, hurting. I had to sit down, I had to stop because my heart was pumping so fast. My heart rate was getting up to 200. Was pouring sweat, just wheezing. Couldn't make it 2 trips. And what I've been doing this week is every day I've been jogging up and down the court with the ball. And what I've been doing is 8 trips back and forth without a stop. Then I take a break for about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe a little longer, get a drink, kind of catch my breath. And then I did that three rounds. So 3 rounds of 8 times back and forth. And I feel great. Like, I'm feeling my conditioning and getting back into shape. It's getting better. My fitness is getting better. So, but one thing I noticed is just by the addition of some wall ball sessions and just dribbling the ball up and down the court, when it came time to play on Friday, there was only 4 of us who showed up. So we played a little 2-on-2, and we played in a little short court setting. I played pretty good, guys. I played pretty good. My dribbling was pretty good. I'm not going to interject and like jump in and interrupt the video. I'm just going to play the footage. But I hope you're ready for this. Like, it's not good by like anyone else's standards, but for me, it was a big deal. I played my best game yet, and I'm feeling very comfortable with the ball at my feet, and you can tell that in this video. So, check this out.
So you dance like heavy smoke. Have you fixed that pressured heart that's on road? Here is a tape for me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody is listening? Heaven is getting closer. We are
right, so we are just fresh off of USA with the SmackDown.
Spirits are high.
Spirits are high. Bosnia, USA. USA wins 2-0. What a great game. And just some instant reactions from us here. We're just going to have a little bit of a conversation about what we just witnessed, and then maybe talk a little bit about your experience with what I think is the greatest game in the world. But
woo! I did not know it was your
Yeah.
top. I did not know it was your top.
Oh, it definitely it became it. So football, soccer. Okay. The comments are already coming through, but I'm gonna have to call it soccer here because I have to differentiate between all the different sports we have here.
Yeah.
But it has become like 1A, 1B for me, and kind of depends on, if the Cowboys are playing, I'm gonna stop everything to watch the Cowboys. But there's so much. I think I genuinely enjoy the experience of watching football more than I enjoy football.
What about it?
So
what specifically about it?
the main thing that I love about football, association football, is the ease of play. So we just watched a game with, I think, 4 commercial breaks.
Maybe more.
Maybe.
I felt like there were
It
more.
felt like a little bit. It felt like a little much. But you just watch. If you're watching the English Premier League, you're watching La Liga, you're watching one of these games, you're gonna see advertisements right before kickoff, a little bit at halftime, and then you're gonna get 90 minutes really of uninterrupted, like the game is being played. And I love that. That was the thing that actually hooked me. I'll explain the moment when I realized there's something different about this game was actually, I had done some reactions, I had reacted to some things, and had noticed that the game was fun. I enjoyed seeing some of the tactical aspects of it, seeing the physicality of it. I kind of had this preconception that the game was not a physical game, that there wasn't a lot of physical play. And then I watched some English Premier League games, and it's a very physical game, very fast-paced, a lot of like what we would call in basketball boxing out. There's a lot of jockeying and fighting for position. So I was like kind of hooked by that, the physicality of it. Sliding tackles were really fun to watch, all that kind of stuff. But I started watching the World Cup in 2022, and I was watching these games, and the thing that there was a stark difference, because for the first time, I think maybe the first time in history, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, we played a World Cup in the fall.
Oh.
So
okay.
in 2022, people were very up in arms about it. The 2022 World Cup had its issues. Like I'm not going to get into the political aspect of it, but every World Cup, especially seems like the last 3 or 4, have a political climate surrounding the World Cup that always kind of is there's a lot of controversy swirling. In 2022, there were a lot of controversies, but they moved the World Cup from the summer to the fall. The reasoning, which I think was fair, but it's a little sketch, was the climate. It was very hot in Qatar. They held the World Cup in Qatar in 2020, or Qatar. I don't know how you say it.
I think it's Qatar.
Qatar, yeah. Well, I always say
Maybe.
Qatar, but I hear people say Qatar. So anyway, they were playing it there, and they moved because of the climate. Very hot games. There would have been hydration breaks then. We could have done it that way instead.
That would have made more sense.
But they moved it to the fall. But anyway, it worked out because what it provided for me was a stark contrast. So I watched that game, and then I watched a game in the World Cup that year, and the very next night was Thursday Night Football, and I watched the Cowboys-Giants game. Okay, that Cowboys-Giants Thursday night game. I'm going to explain a sequence to you that bugs me. We had a play, a first down run, where there was a holding penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to back it up 10 yards, it was a 10-yard penalty. Back it up. We have to run first down again. Okay, we're running that play again. First down. We still haven't passed first down. On the second run of first down, I'm trying to explain this for non-American football fans.
So we replay the down, first and now 17 or something, and we run that play, and on that play there's an injury. We cut to commercial. So
I see where you're going.
I get 2 minutes or 3 minutes of commercial break until they're done with the medical attention, and we don't even get to watch what the paramedics, or not paramedics, the team medical staff is doing. We don't.
Yeah.
When we're watching these games, we actually get to see the medical staff on the pitch. You still hear the commentary, everything. Cameras are still rolling. You're still invested in what's happening in that stadium. But I was getting shown Gillette commercials and Shaq selling Shaq-a-roni pizzas with Papa John's, and I'm getting all of this stuff. And then we cut back to the game. We still, I think we're now on second down. We're on second down
now.
now.
The ball has barely moved.
Second down in like 15, and we run another play. Holding penalty.
Oh my God.
We back it on up. We have to play second down again. We play second down. I don't know exactly what happened on that play, but the opponent, which was the Giants, called a timeout. I get 2 more minutes of commercials. Yep. Gillette, everything's better with, is it Duncan? Is that the Duncan commercial? I get whatever.
Yeah.
I get all of these different commercials. All right, we're back in the game. It's third down. We're not even done with this drive, and I've sat through about 6 minutes of commercials at this point. So I was just kind of noticing it, and that game was particularly bad because the whole game was penalty ridden. We had about 15 penalties aside. It was a crazy, really highly penalized game, and there was a ton of commercial breaks. And I remember sitting there going, "Dude, this is a 3.5-hour experience, and it's 11 minutes of actual play."
Yeah.
Now, I'm not as mad at that as a lot of my supporters on this channel are. They just can't fathom that. To understand American football, you have to understand that it's a very tactical game.
Yeah.
So each play is a unique set piece designed to beat another set piece on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
And you have to reset after each one because you're going to run another set piece, and the quarterback's got to scan to see, okay, the safety, I have 2 safeties up there. So my coverage, I can run whatever route combination to beat these 2 safeties. Well, then when the ball is snapped, one of those safeties is dropping on a blitz. Now it's a 1 safety, that route. So all of this is a very cerebral game that you have to read in real time, and you have to react quickly.
Yeah.
But there has to be a ton of preparation. So they have to study playbooks and all of these things.
That's why play callers are so like significant.
Yeah, they're highly touted. Play callers make the huge salaries, especially if you're good at it.
Yeah.
Because you have to call the right X's and O's to beat their X's and O's.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, so I understand that there's going to be a lot of stoppages. I don't mind that 60 minutes is really only 11 minutes of actual play.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that goes into scheming up the next play and how to beat the other opponent. So I don't quibble with it that much. But with having so many stoppages in our game, it makes it almost impossible experience because of the amount of times I have to sit and watch commercials and then scroll on my phone. If I'm watching with friends, that's when you can go outside and throw the football around while there's a timeout or something.
Yeah.
But really, it's needlessly long. And so I understand why a lot of supporters of association football wouldn't watch our game. But it was, for me, it was the contrast of the 2 games right next to each other that I really started to enjoy the experience of soccer. And so, yeah, it very quickly became my favorite sport and also I was having a lot of engagement on the channel. So there was a lot of interest because there was a lot of people sending me, hey, check out this historical moment, react to this. They'll send me a video about some obscure thing that happened, and so started reading some of the history, started understanding the tactics at play, understanding the league systems and all those kind of things. And so I became enamored with the sport pretty quickly. I probably wouldn't have fallen in love with the game as much as I have if it wasn't for the channel, because I had a lot of people sending me the right things to check out, which really, really helped. But But really, I was hooked at that point when I saw uninterrupted play, and so it became.
You got to see the actual game, not just a bunch of commercials.
Yeah, but yeah. So this game that we just watched, man, what are your thoughts after watching 2-0 with Bosnia?
It was more nerve-wracking than I would thought, because Bosnia is probably not one of the highly touted teams. Like they're not one of the top tier dogs. It was very back and forth at first. They were very Bosnia was very choking. Like on their side of the pitch, they just choked whoever had the ball.
Yeah.
So it was very that's what made it so nerve-wracking, honestly.
Yeah,
but it was a great game.
That's what I was noticing early on. The thing that the problem that you run into a lot of times is just overlooking an opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect the Bosnian defenders to be so they collapsed onto our attack pretty quick. So early on in the game, we were getting a lot of opportunities, moving the ball like Pochettino loves to do. We're getting the ball out into the middle and then distributing out to a highly moving player on the wing either side, and then you're trying to get into good position with Balogun in the middle. And so everything was going according to plan. We were getting our attack off. But I was surprised early on that Bosnia would suffocate. They would close in, choke it out, like you said, and then. So I was kind of impressed because they sort of played a very similar. And by the way, I'm not an expert when it comes to tactical stuff, so there are going to be some people in the comments who correct a little bit of what I'm saying here. But in my opinion, it looked like they were playing the kind of tactics that Paraguay tried to play against us in that first match. They were hanging back on their side of the pitch. They were inviting pressure. They were allowing us to progress the ball from the back line up and get the ball out into the halfway point of the pitch and then actually get our attack going. Yeah. But they were far better than Paraguay.
I feel like the difference was like Paraguay looked a little lost.
Yeah.
And Bosnia looked like they were more determined. I don't know. Yeah. There was just more of a focus with them.
Yeah, I agree. And so, man, amazing match. But I think that eventually the cracks in their defense just were. We were a better team. We overpowered them eventually. But I had to say, I was more, like you said, I was on the edge of my seat a little bit.
Yeah,
for a while.
You got a little nervous.
The thing that started reminding me of was in 2022 when the United States played against Iran.
Yeah.
And we were playing in that knockout round, and or was it knockout round? No. We were playing to get to the knockout stage, and we had to win that match. And we were up 1-0. Pulisic scored that goal. And then we defended, I think, like 70 minutes of that match. I can't remember. I think we scored that goal in the first half early. And then the rest of the match was and I'm telling you, Iran, chance after chance. Corner, free kick. Missed goal. Corner. It was just relentless for the whole, and then I'm sitting there, I'm stressed. I was sweating. I had my live stream on there. They were watching me, and I was stressing. I was like, I couldn't stay still. I was like moving around, and then they hold up the stoppage time at the end of the game. We're at 90 minutes. They hold the stoppage time up 9 minutes.
Oh my goodness!
9 more minutes of corner.
And it was 1-0.
It was 1-0.
Oh goodness! No.
And we needed a win to advance. And man, and we held on. And by the end of the match, all the American players, I mean, they were exhausted. Poof, everyone falls down. They were all they're all laying on the pitch, and I'm in my living room just ecstatic because that's my introduction, really. That tournament was my introduction into this game, and I'm like, okay, this is what I see why people are so invested in it.
Yeah.
Another thing that was huge on my journey in falling in love with football was Welcome to Wrexham. Have you watched that?
I have not.
I'll tell you what,
we ought to do some welcome to Wrexham reactions for my Patreon.
Is it a show or is it
a show?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
are you familiar with it at all?
I feel like I've heard the title. Is it the thing with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
So Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought a club
Okay.
called Wrexham AFC. Wrexham AFC were once, I don't think they were ever in the Premier League, but they were once in like the Championship, I think, which is like a second tier club. And I might be wrong on that. I don't think they were ever in the Premier League though. I think they were like in the second tier of English football, all the way up in the Championship. So they were but they were a well-known side. Like they were a good club.
Yeah.
And then they got relegated, and with poor ownership, they got relegated again, and relegated again, and then they got relegated all the way outside of the professional ranks. So they were in the 5th tier of English football, which would technically be like a semi-pro, but it was very like they weren't a pro side, and so mismanagement, poor finances. They were in a terrible space, and Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney said, hey, one, they were looking for investments, but also they were looking to invest in the beautiful game. I think it was Rob who was already a fan of the game itself, and he just wanted to own a club. So they bought the club.
Okay.
And then they started staffing the club well. They got a good manager in there. They started making some kind of shrewd signings, one of them being Paul Mullen, who was like a legend for Wrexham AFC now. And so the show is it's a docu-series. It's actually a real, like, they're following a real story in real time.
Oh, wow.
And what ended up happening, I guess it's not a spoiler now because Wrexham AFC are scratching on the door of being a Premier League team.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think the first season they didn't promote, that they were really close to it, and then they poured it on in another season. They promoted out of it was a big deal. I remember watching the show and then being so excited when they finally promoted out of the what was that called? The National League or the National Championship? I can't remember the name of the league they were in. But they got promoted up into the 4th tier professional side, and then making shrewd signings. The show was a huge hit in the United States, so they have a huge American fan base. And then
I was going to say, much like an American to do, like buy something, make it a big production, and then
And then now like Daredevil, no, not Daredevil. What is his? Who was Rob? Deadpool.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Daredevil is closely related, but Deadpool is like an icon of Wrexham now. It's a part of the lore of this team. So the cultures of Hollywood and Wrexham are sort of combined. So in the pubs there in Wrexham, which is it's a Welsh team, so this is in Wales. The pubs have Ryan Reynolds. They have like Deadpool.
That
gear.
is so cool.
So there's a real fusion between like American culture and their culture. So I was watching this play out, and that show also really hooked me because, one, you follow the lives of fans who had been miserable, but they were supporting their club day in and day out. Miserable as it is, they were there to support. Well, then all of this money starts getting infused into the team, and they start winning, and then they promoted again, and then they promoted back to back, and then they promoted back to back to back. And right now they're in the 2nd tier of English football, which is the Championship. And the top 3 teams from that league get promoted to the Premier League. So there is a world in which Tottenham Hotspur plays against Wrexham. And Wrexham was not even in the pyramid.
Wow.
They were in the pyramid. They were not even in the professional portion of the league.
When did this start?
So it was right around the time I was getting in the game, around the pandemic. So, I mean, you're talking 2020s is
so
when...
6 years they went from being
out
in
of
non-professional football
to almost all the way in the Premier League. And so that story also hooked me in because that is an opportunity to watch. Literally, it's what Americans love. We love a story of someone like Rocky. That's the whole dream there, is like to come from the bottom and to climb all the way to the top, and that's what's going to happen with them probably. And so really there's a really cool that show is also really well produced and a lot of fun. So it would be worth if you ever wanted to do some reactions.
Okay.
We could put that up on Patreon.
If
so
it
there's
hooks me, I'm down.
You would love it. And you're also, this is my friend Dylan, man. He is a huge fan of art and and movies and filmmaking. You would love that. So there's,
if it's well done, then
yeah.
I mean, you got me in my seat.
Yeah. So there is Welcome to Wrexham. There's Sunderland Till I Die is a really cool.
I know the team.
Yeah. Sunderland Till I Die is also a really good documentary that was instrumental at this point in time. But then I just started watching. When I realized it was really taking a hook, is like I wasn't filming content and I was watching Welcome to Wrexham on my own. I was watching Sunderland Till I Die. I watched just a whole slew of like there was a drama, a British drama called The English Game, and it's like a dramatized version of the very inception of football, when the Football Association begins, and it's called The English Game. It's a little dramatized. It's not exactly history, but it's pretty close. Of like, because early on, I'm geeking out about this right now, so just
go
stop
for
me.
it. I don't care.
This podcast is turning into very one-sided because I'm just like I'm talking a lot, but
I'm honestly I'm very fascinated because I'm still new to the game.
Yeah.
And so to hear how somebody else came to be a fan, I'm interested.
So one of those things that the early developments of football as a sport is that it used to be played almost like in packs. So there would be a ball, there'd be two sides, and they would run as a unit. So you put like 11 guys together, and they're all running together, and the ball's at their feet, and they're kicking, and they're trying to advance the ball past the other 11, keeping the ball at their feet inside the pack, and trying to keep the other team from winning possession of the ball and then advancing in their pack forward. So think of like have you ever watched rugby?
I've seen clips of rugby. I've never seen a whole match.
So it's not the same. Don't come at me in the comments. It's not the same at all. But
do come at him in the comments.
Think of the scrum.
Okay.
So they're fighting for the ball at the bottom of a scrum, and you've got the two sides like fighting position. They're all locked in. Okay, I said it's not like that. That's not how football was, but similar. Yeah. You've got two packs of players fighting for possession of a ball that's kind of at their feet, and they're sort of running at each other.
I'm with you.
So that's like the early inception of the game. Again, I'm probably butchering that a little bit, but from what I understand of it. So then, according to the English Game, which I said is not history, but there were some Scottish players who started innovating and started saying, what if we spread the pack out and started to pass the ball like forward passing? What if we started trying, or not just forward passing, but we started trying to lateral pass? Like, what if we kicked it out to a winger? And so then it starts changing. You've got a very cool history of how like the game starts to evolve and innovate. Anyway, yeah, I started watching stuff like that and started really geeking out about it. And then I'm like, okay, this game is too rich, too beautiful. Like I understand why they call it a beautiful game because, anyway, it was
that makes sense.
It's a game for the people. Like it's a game that anyone can play. All you have to have is a ball and some posts, and you can play the game. And so I love that. I love American football too, but like to play it, you kind of have to play flag football. Like that's the only real way you can't really experience American football unless you have thousands of dollars of equipment poured into a fund to build a team, because you need to have the equipment necessary.
Closest you can get is catch. Just playing catch with the ball.
I mean, I guess we could play rugby, but rugby is...
I don't want to play rugby. I don't want to get my ear beaten on.
Rugby is a vicious sport for sure, but it's vicious in a different way. American football is vicious because we actually are using that protective armor as a weapon.
Yeah.
And you're running at each other full speed trying to decleat the other person. You're trying to take them
Yeah.
out of the ground and move their.
It's a battle, honestly. It's
Yeah.
like 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a high-speed car crash with protective armor, but that armor, I'll tell you what, I played it. People like to criticize and say you guys are such a weak. You get hit. Wait till you get hit by someone wearing a helmet and shoulder pads. I remember the first hit I took playing football. My ears were ringing when I got up off the ground.
No.
And I was like, something, and that was probably an illegal hit. We did a lot of helmet to helmet, but
You said that so casually, as if it was normal.
some of the regulations in the game have made it safer. But
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
was
yeah.
playing in 2012 to 2016, coaches would be like, "Just hit them, just hit them." they weren't teaching you. They would tell you, "Don't lead with your head." But then we're like, "I don't know what that means." Just smack somebody with it.
You just become a ram at that
yeah,
point.
Yeah, exactly. You're like a SWAT team battering ram. Just go knock somebody out. Yeah. So anyway, this is a little bit of a just a short conversation that we wanted to film. Just talk a little bit about the game.
Yeah.
I love to share my my love for football with other folks, and some of you guys like to watch it.